Hi everyone. Are you dealing with picky eaters at home? Are you frustrated when it comes to mealtime and you're like, what do I make them to eat? Such a struggle to try to figure out what to make for them to eat. Well, you're not alone. I'm in the same place. Although my kids are 7 and 10, thinking that as they get older, that they're willing to try new food. However, that has not been the case for me. Although my situation is compounded with my kids having food allergies, especially with my 10-year-old. My 10-year-old has multiple food allergies. There are a lot of food that he is allergic to. Well, mainly the ingredients. Like the most common ones are nuts and eggs, which makes it really difficult to try to find nutritious meals for him or safe food for him to eat. My 7-year-old, he is allergic to eggs, but everything else he seems to be okay. So that makes it slightly easier. But since they are brothers, if the older one is willing to try something, the younger one will always just copy older brother because he wants to be cool, I guess, like his brother. So when they were younger, before I found out how many different food allergies they had, I really did try to encourage them to try new food. But as I started to let them try new food, I also became aware that certain foods, they had certain reactions to it. So that made me really, really nervous. So when they do get the food reactions from certain food, like a rash, or they say, oh, mommy, I don't feel so good, or a tummy ache or something, it really gets me anxious to say, oh no, are they allergic to this particular food item? Is it an ingredient here? So in the beginning, it was hard until I talked to my pediatrician who referred me to see an allergist. And the allergist says, oh, let's just go ahead and do some allergy tests and see, what's going on. And getting back the allergy test results made me feel a bit more confident in knowing what food to avoid for my kids. And then they also advise, like starting off with small pieces of new food and see if there is a reaction to it. And I kind of feel like because my kids have food allergies and I'm very cautious about letting them try new food, I think they kind of picked up the picky eating part because they're afraid of getting a bad reaction when trying new food or something that's unknown. So they might feel it's really scary. And I kind of feel like it's partly my fault. Again, maybe it's just the mom guilt that's talking about it, but at the same time, I'm just trying to figure out, how to encourage my kids to try new food and not be just focused on just a couple of item foods and try to expand it while letting them know, hey, this is safe. It's perfectly safe. The doctor clears it, and stuff like that. But I kind of feel like they're just anxious about trying new food, or they're just like, no. Or maybe that's just how kids are in general. I don't know. But sometimes I kind of do feel like they might have picked up my anxiousness about trying new food. But, let me know, if does your kids have food allergies, or if your kids have food allergies, do you feel the same way? How do you deal with it? Let me know in the comments, okay? But anyways, when they were younger, definitely I was much more like saying, okay, we're just gonna stick with these food. But since they have started school and they've gotten older, I decided, you know what, I'm gonna start slowly introducing them to something that's new. That's something that's a little bit more nutritious. So I have tried to give them a little bit more protein in their diets. Because unfortunately, currently their proteins just consists of chicken nuggets and maybe pepperoni pizza for my 7-year-old. And then with my 10-year-old who has multiple food allergies, his proteins are, just like homemade boiled chicken and rice and chicken nuggets. So I want them to expand and maybe try like beef, for instance. So we've been trying to encourage them to try beef, and we've been doing that by adding these Korean sauce. My husband makes Korean beef sauce meals, and he cooks it in this really sweet Korean sauce. And we encouraged the kids one time, say, hey, why don't you try this Korean beef? It tastes really good. It's sweet and it's soft. You just only try a little bit. If you don't like it, it's okay. At least you're willing to try. And we were actually quite surprised, and we were quite happy to find out that both kids really enjoy like the Korean ribs with the sauce, or Korean beef with the sauce. And that got us to think, hey, we can, since they like that, we can slowly introduce it to them a little bit more. So once they start to show interest in it, we're like, okay, why don't we try asking them to see if they're willing to eat it with rice now? So we said, hey kids, we're gonna make Korean beef or Korean ribs tonight, and we're gonna add rice to this too. And they also discovered eating those seaweed packets, and they're like, oh, we really like the seaweed packet. Can we make it to like a seaweed sandwich with the meat and rice in there? So they're playing with their foods essentially. And I know it's not the best idea to actually have kids play with their food, but I just feel like, what, if they're willing to eat the food and they're willing to try it, and if it means it gets a little bit messy and they're playing a little bit of it, I guess I'm all for it. So I'm slowly introducing these things, and so far so good, and we're slowly trying to make it into more of a weekly routine. What also helps is that I decided when they were starting school that I would make a meal plan for the week, for the weekdays, because we're busy, with school or with work, and I need to be able to figure out what to make them in the mornings, for breakfast, so that I can get them off to school on time, or in their lunch I have to pack up something that can be easily made and packed early in the morning, and they can finish it within their lunch period. And for dinner, it's a little more flexibility. We usually use the dinner time as time to kind of start introducing new things for them to try, perhaps. But we always check with them first before we do. We always try to hype it up as much as we can. That's what we try to do. Let me know what kind of methods you have tried doing to encourage your kids to not be such picky eaters. Let me know down in the comments. And remember to like, comment, and subscribe. I'll see you later.